Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies, as well as other projects in the works that's really going to work all in conjunction with what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are currently working on as we speak. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that a lot of fans have been very excited about is exactly what both Favreau and Filoni, as well as Peyton Reed and other creators like Deborah Chow, are putting together for the future Star Wars TV shows and everything that comes after the Kenobi series. Now, we already know that Season 2 is being picked up, all thanks to Disney CEO Bob Chapek. An official announcement is on the horizon, and a lot of things are happening behind the scenes between Favreau and Filoni and their take on the overall Star Wars universe at hand. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more interesting has a lot to do with actor Pedro Pascal. Now, we already know that Pedro Pascal has been having a lot of issues behind the scenes. We've been talking about this with the whole helmet situation, but actually dwindling it all down to what Pedro Pascal had to say about the Star Wars fans, this is where things begin to get a little bit worse when it comes to how Pedro talks to the fans, when it comes to different interviews, when he's talking about him being a part of The Mandalorian, and now he's talking more about his view on how fans are reacting to the Kenobi TV show, and of course the entire Moses and Graham situation and the entire character of Reva. Now, obviously, we already know that there's been a lot of things happening with the Kenobi series because a lot of fans are very unhappy with specific sequences here and there. We'll get into that a little bit later. However, on top of all of that, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are busy creating the Ahsoka Tano series along with The Mandalorian Season 4, as well by Jon Favreau, both creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are also working on a handful of other Star Wars shows that are set to be announced in the near future. However, it's described that actor Pedro Pascal actually reacted to the Star Wars fandom when he was interviewed and eventually questioned about the fans' stance on the Kenobi series and even the Moses and Graham situation. Now, Pedro Pascal went on to state, it's a common trend that I tend to see in the Star Wars community. Everyone thinks that they know better than the creators, and I say that this is coming from a large portion of the fans. It's not just a minority, and it is absolutely why there are so many issues with the Star Wars community right now. I am truly frustrated beyond belief with how the fans are reacting to the Kenobi series and Moses Ingram, who I have had the pleasure of working with on the photo shoot for Vanity Fair. She is the brightest woman on Earth, and the fans just never gave her a chance. I am disgusted with how the fans are already trying to put so much pressure on people like Joby Harold and Deborah Chow. They are brilliant creators, great writers and directors that create flawless projects, and they don't deserve the criticism that they agree, of course, with actually putting into the show. If somebody wants to give out bad opinions on a series, it is best to keep it to yourselves because it only creates more problems for the creators and their future for their career with the shows that they are working on. I met with both Jon and Dave. They are brilliant people, but they don't seem to get the fact that the majority of fans are very overly demanding and expect to deserve everything right to them on the spot with no questions asked. Let me just stop right here for a second. Pedro Pascal, in my opinion, is in the complete wrong that it's the majority of fans that are acting this way. It is absolutely not the majority of the fans acting this way. Now, I think that he's getting confused with people being very upset with the creators having a lack of vision in some areas of the Kenobi show. And there's a main reason behind that, and we discussed this already, is that there's a lot of elements from the Kenobi movie script, which, by the way, was being handled by Kathleen Kennedy, and when she still had creative power in early 2020, when she ordered the rewrites of the show, a lot of the original scripts from the movie made its way into the TV series. So that's exactly why every once in a while you have a lot of Kathleen Kennedy trends here and there in the Kenobi series. It's also worth noting that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni had zero involvement with the Kenobi show. They might have called the shots here and there on certain lore to be made or to be acknowledged in the show, and that's about it. But they never really had any kind of, direct creative input with Deborah Chow, which, by the way, they are going to be joining season 2. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. But the thing about all of this is that Pedro Pascal just automatically assumes that it's the majority of fans acting in such a terrible way against what Moses Ingram posted on her Instagram stories of those terrible comments. And, of course, how the fans are reacting to the Kenobi TV series. Okay, yes, that's a large part of the fandom, but they're not acting the way that Pedro Pascal is really making them out to be. A lot of fans are just very upset with certain key elements of the show. That's all. They're not being overly demanding to me. They're just asking for common sense in some areas. That's how I see it. So moving on from all of that, alright, he goes on to say this, alright, I met with both John and Dave. They are very, very goal-oriented people. To me, this is not the place to be expressing all of these negative opinions against the Kenobi series. I will never understand fans. They wanted a Kenobi series or movie or whatever, and now they have one, and they complain for absolutely no reason. I have seen fans expressing that the show is all about the character Reva, which I think is absolutely nonsense and makes me roll my eyes. We thankfully never got this treatment from the fans per se for the Mandalorian seasons that I worked on, but I saw what they did to us with the Book of Boba Fett and it was just unacceptable. Fans need to know that these stories are not about them. These stories are not about me. It's about the creator's vision and what they want to do. It's not about you or me or anybody. It's about creating the massive universe of Star Wars stories that they get to tell us. And I have had the pleasure of working on set with John and Dave, but the fans' treatment of Kenobi is disgustingly unfair, and it frustrates me to no end. And the fact that it has no reason or valid points to back them up at all. As for Moses Ingram, I have never seen worse behavior from the majority of Star Wars fans in my entire life. And again, he's putting blame on, quote-unquote, the majority of fans. The majority of fans, to tell you guys the truth, alright, a lot of casual fans out there, just watch the Kenobi series, they enjoyed it, they don't care about what's in it, and they move along. But the people that are either in between being a casual and a hardcore fan, or hardcore fans, really had a big problem with some areas of the Kenobi series, and all they're doing is that they're expressing an opinion, and I actually welcome an opinion being expressed. Again, everything is welcome below in the comments, either positive or negative. It's how the world should work. And I don't know why Pedro Pascal is so defensive over fans expressing their opinion over the Kenobi series. Also, of course, how he's kind of altering of what happened with the Moses Ingram situation, making it out to be the majority of fans, where in reality it absolutely was not. So, like I say, it's not all that surprising that Pedro Pascal would be saying something like this. This is kind of expected from him, at least. He is another one of those that I'll talk about that I'm not really all a fan of, when it comes to him as a person, like as an actor, outside of his films or his shows or whatever. He is absolutely crazy on social media. I don't even know if you guys follow him, but I digress. That's about all I have to say about that. So, overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.